All right, so you guys are gonna have to go with me on this here. I know I'm bouncing around here, but this is all basically rear suspension related because I gotta get this gas tank out. The reason is because I need to clean it. This thing has been sitting for like 8 years, and I know that it's been sitting longer than that because the person that I bought it from had to clean the fuel system themselves. So what I need to do is I need to clip these off and take the straps off. I already unhooked the electrical connections up at the top, and then that was gross. It smells like a lawnmower, old lawnmower gas, and it was in my face. It's on my tongue. It's on my tongue. I can taste it. So now the gas tank is out, it is right there, and I've got some rust under here. I honestly believe it is all surface rust. If you look closely at some of these locations here, including like something like that, or that, I kind of cleaned up a lot of that here. So I cleaned it up with a wire brush, and including under there too. I mean, that was pretty bad before, but I started cleaning that up. I'm just going to clean up all these areas. If you look over here, you'll see that this is kind of like a pretty good example of some pretty bad rust at the location of the bolt. I actually had the same exact problem here, but I've already cleaned it up. So it's just a matter of cleaning everything up, adding more seam sealer, and then painting it. The whole thing with Pour 15, I'm going to end up doing that as well. So that's all going to be part of it. I got a pretty good idea of what the fuel system looks like. All these filters are going to be replaced. All these rubber lines are going to be replaced. I'm going to reuse the hard lines. But all this stuff is going to end up getting re-welded if need be. But it doesn't look like I'm going to have to remove or replace any patches, which is really, really good because I really didn't want to do that. And the fuel system here, like I said, this fuel smells like it came from an old lawnmower. This is bad fuel. I gotta clean out the lines, I gotta clean out the fuel and remove it, get rid of it, and then just move on from there. Now, lucky for me, there's not a lot of fuel in here. There's only about maybe 5 gallons, 6 gallons in here, so it's enough to fill up a bucket or two, and then I can properly dispose of it. So this all can be cleaned. All this surface rust can all be cleaned. The tank can be cleaned. Everything under here can be cleaned and will be. All right, so this gas tank has definitely seen better days, and the gas that's inside of here right now, probably about 5 to 8 gallons, I'm thinking, is in here based on the weight, is really bad gas. So I got to get the gas out of here, put it into these buckets, and then use a solvent to clean the inside of the tank, and then get that going. And then, of course, do the upgraded fuel pump for the S85 engine. All this stuff needs to be removed and fixed, cleaned, replaced as necessary, and then we can get this puppy back up in the car. After, of course, we finish all of the rust repair on the underside, and then do a quick, big, undercoating on the entire underside. So that's all going to be part of what we got to go ahead and do next. Well, I got the tank empty, and I was pretty darn close. 2 5-gallon jugs, that's 5 gallons right there, and that is a little less than 5 gallons, so probably about 9, I'm thinking, total. In the tank, that was bad. It's very clear gas, very clear. So I'm probably just going to end up using it for my lawnmower. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I don't want to definitely get rid of it. I think I can use it for something. But anyway, this tank needs to be power washed, cleaned up, and we can move on with our lives. All right, so here we got a fuel tank. Not just any fuel tank, but a double fuel pump fuel tank. Both of these outputs are high pressure lines that go to the M70 engine, but we're only going to be using one pump. We're going to be using a 450 LPH pump. Now, we want to really kind of restore this tank, and as you know, I've already removed a lot of the gas, in fact, most of the gas. And what I want to do is I want to remove both of these things. I want to inspect the fuel level and the pumps. I want to replace both of those pumps in here with just one big ass pump. I want to clean up all the lines, and I also want to obviously clean this, and then just clean the tank up, right? Because we're going to be end up putting this tank back in there, and I want to make sure this tank is tip top. So we need to get this thing cleaned up and ready to go. So let's remove the caps and let's start doing some surgery. So here we have our fuel pump, two fuel pumps. Geez, look at this. So these are the two fuel pumps, right? And it's got a level sensor here, right? The level sensor has a little bit of a little rheostat there that basically senses the change in resistance based on how high or low the fuel level is. So this is basically a rheostat, or variable resistor. And here we have the same thing. This one looks like it's kind of worn out, so I want to test it with an ohm meter to make sure that the resistance is actually reading variable like it should be as I'm moving this up and down. So we'll test that later. This is a very simple setup, and this guy, this tip here is kind of like an alignment. You basically put that into the tank, and it aligns the location of this, so this seats correctly on the inside of the tank, and then this guy fits inside of the tank. It's like a little bit of a saucer there that this thing sits on. And it basically pushes up against when it's in its correct position. So that explains the shape of this thing, right? So this is pretty much set. I'm not really going to be doing anything with this other than cleaning it up and replacing the tubes. This guy is really what I want to focus on, right? So this is a two pump system. We're going to end up going to a single pump. This is a 450 LPH, is a Walbro 450 liter per hour fuel pump, which is more than enough that the S85 can handle. So we're only going to be using one of these. And what I need to do, the thing that's really unique about what this is that the pump needs to be installed in such a way that its filter is at the same location as the filter on the old pumps. Because that way I know that I'm actually picking up fuel at the lowest possible point and not too high up where I'm actually not able to use fuel. It'll limit my range of the car, and that's not good either. So I want to make sure that I safely remove the parts that I don't need and install correctly the parts that I do need. And I mean, you can even see this. Look at this. Look at this fuel line right here. Look at this. Just flakes away. This is a rubber hose. Just flakes away. It's crazy, huh? Yeah, pretty old, right? I mean, look at these mounts. Look at this really quick. This is a rubber mount. Ready? Look. It's like goo, right? So obviously we're gonna have to find a different solution for mounting. But these guys need to come out. The fuel level sender needs to be removed so that we don't destroy it, and then reinstall from the ground up the new pump. So you can see here that I was able to fit the pump into the slot really nicely. In fact, you can see that there's like a beveled edge here, and the beveled edge literally fits, if you, like a press fit, if you just push it on, it holds pretty good. So that's great because the cylinder wall thickness of this and the size compared to the actual pump means that I can put this pump anywhere I want. And I'm going to put it on the bottom because I think it's just going to be easier to do it there. But unfortunately, the way that this is positioned, and I obviously need to replace the mounts, which I will. I'm going to replace all 4 of the mounts, in fact. If this is the position that it's going to be in, I said 2 inches, right? Or I stated that, or I had it in my time lapse. This here looks like it's right around 3 inches, right? 3 inches to the bottom of the filter, which is too low. So I need to basically cut more out of this black barrel to position the pump higher. So if I'm at 3 inches and I need to be at 2 inches, means I need to take 1 inch off of this barrel and then reinstall, and it should be good. I mean, that way everything should be basically pretty level. So I cut off another inch from this barrel, and where's the pump? Probably should have been prepared with the pump before I did this. The pump. Here it is. Okay. If I were to put the pump up in here like this, push this barrel in, I think I still need a little bit more trimming here. Let's trim a little bit more out. Okay, let's try this again. Pump up, pushes in nicely. In fact, let's turn it this way instead. I'm obviously going to need to apply it in some sort of glue or something here. But if I were to install it, okay, this is what it's going to look like when it's installed. Right, I'm trying to space out where the actual hangers will end up going, right? That's probably good, right? So if I were to measure now, I'm getting just about, this is going to end up settling something like that, right? Something like that. That's right at the 2 inch mark. See it? Right below the filter is 2 inches. So far, this is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed, pretty happy with it. And then obviously the line from the fuel line to here will get easily plumbed. And then this can get cut and soldered onto here.